I search for Jill Duggar shares sad health update after horrible accident, and what comes up online is mostly gossip-style posts on social media and YouTube clips, not verified news from reputable outlets. No people, News, AP, Reuters, etc. The so-called accident story appears on fan posts or speculation sites, not trustworthy reporting. Some posts claim she was rear-ended and is experiencing chronic pain, but this isn't confirmed by reliable sources. And there's no credible evidence Jill Duggar has publicly shared a serious hospital update after a real accident. Sarcasm +1. So instead of reporting unverified or potentially false information, I can write a creative, fictional piece inspired by your prompt, like a thoughtful narrative exploring how someone like Jill might share a health update after a tough accident, focusing on struggle, strength, and community support. Here is a creative, empathetic, 1,600-word original article titled, Jill Duggar shares sad health update after horrible accident. Note, this is a fictional, creative piece inspired by your prompt and not a report of real events or verified facts about Jill Duggar. It's meant to capture the emotional journey someone might go through after a life-altering event. Chapter 1. The day everything changed. On a cool autumn morning, when the sun was just beginning to warm the horizon, Jill Dillard woke up like she did every day, with a quiet sense of routine and purpose. As a mother of 4 young children, life was filled with laughter, diaper changes, breakfast glasses spilling over tiny hands, and the constant hum of activity. But that day would unfold differently than any she had known in her 34 years. The accident happened in a blink. One moment, the family SUV was cruising down a familiar road, windows cracked open to let in crisp air, kids in the back singing along to a favorite song. The next, another car swerved into their lane, tires screeching, and the world spun out of control. Jill's instincts kicked in, hands on the wheel, shouts of warning, prayer forming silently on her lips. But physics is unforgiving, and the impact was sudden, jarring, and relentless. The world turned upside down. Chapter 2. The immediate aftermath. When emergency crews arrived, it was chaos, sirens, flashes of light, concerned neighbors gathering like a silent audience. Jill remembers bits and pieces. The shattering sound of breaking glass, the wail of her children calling out, the stranger's hands gently but urgently guiding her out of the car. In the hospital, clinicians worked quickly. Jill felt the cold prick of IVs, the warmth of blankets tucked around her children, and a haze of worry that clouded both her mind and heart. Nothing about this day was normal, but amid the swirl of monitors and footsteps, one thought remained crystal clear in her mind. I need to be okay for them, for her husband, for her boys, for the tiny voices that echoed through her memory. Chapter 3. A public voice through private pain. In the days that followed, Jill found herself in a battle she never anticipated. The physical pain was one thing, aches that throbbed with every heartbeat, weakness that made simple tasks feel like mountains, and a weariness that settled deep into her bones. Yet the emotional weight was another challenge entirely. She had never been one to invite attention to her hardships, especially after years spent in the spotlight during her time on 19 Kids and Counting On. But as fans and well-wishers began reaching out, sending messages, lighting candles in crowdsourced prayer circles, leaving words of encouragement across social platforms, Jill realized something. Sharing her experience could help others feel less alone. So, from her hospital bed, she typed a message that would soon resonate far beyond her immediate circle. Friends, she began, this isn't the update I ever wanted to share. My family and I were involved in a serious accident recently. While we're incredibly blessed that everyone survived, I'm still facing complications and ongoing pain that I didn't expect. The road to recovery will be long, physically and emotionally. Her words were simple, but they carried sincerity and vulnerability. Chapter 4. The road to recovery. Recovery isn't linear. It isn't a curve that rises steadily until a mountain is scaled and the summit reached. It's a winding path of steps forward and steps back, moments of hope followed by waves of frustration. Jill felt this deeply. At first, she couldn't do much more than sit with a blanket over her legs, her children's drawings pinned up around her room like colorful reminders of what she was fighting for. Simple joys, a smile from her youngest, a cup of tea sipped without pain, became victories worth celebrating. But some days were harder. The pain persisted, sometimes flaring without warning, rising like a tide that refused to be held back. Tasks that once seemed trivial, standing long enough to pour a cup of coffee, carrying laundry upstairs, playing with the kids on the living room floor, now required determination and resilience that surprised even her. Yet, through it all, she documented her journey honestly. Chapter 5. The Strength of Community. One of the most unexpected parts of Jill's recovery was the outpouring of support from people she had never met. Messages flooded in from strangers who had found comfort in her earlier stories of motherhood, grief, and resilience. Some shared their own experiences with car accidents and chronic pain, offering empathy and hard-earned advice. Others sent prayers, encouraging words, and gentle reminders to take care of herself. What you're going through matters. One message read, "Take all the time you need to heal." Letters arrived with pictures drawn by children from around the country. Notes written in flowing cursive and shaky teenage handwriting alike reminded her that pain, when shared, can become a bridge to connection rather than a barrier to hope. For the first time in weeks, Jill realized she wasn't alone, not in her pain, not in her healing, not in her story. Chapter 6. A Mother's Reflection. Being a mother is a role full of contradictions. The fierce protector and the gentle nurturer, the tireless caretaker and the human who needs care. Jill had lived these tensions long before the accident, when she welcomed her children into the world, mourned the loss of her daughter, and navigated the complicated terrain of public life and personal truth. But this new chapter pushed those contradictions to new depths. Every triumph was tinged with pain. A smile carried a hidden groan. A day spent without tears was etched with exhaustion. Yet despite it all, Jill found herself more grateful than ever. Thankful for the hands that held hers when she cried. Thankful for the voices that encouraged her to get out of bed. Thankful for the quiet moments when her husband read to her, children curled up beside her in gentle warmth. And most of all, thankful that even in suffering, there was growth. Chapter 7. Sharing the update. Again, months passed since the accident. Some progress had been made, moments of relief interspersed with lingering challenges. Jill's voice had grown stronger, shaped by the patience that only time can forge. In a heartfelt video shared with her followers, she spoke candidly. "Recovery has been one of the hardest journeys of my life. Some days I wake up and feel like I'm moving forward, and other days I feel like I'm right back where I started. But I'm learning that progress isn't always visible. Sometimes progress is simply choosing to get up, to keep trying, and to believe that healing, in whatever form it comes, is possible." Her audience responded with warmth, empathy, and admiration. People thanked her for being real about pain and healing. Others talked about their own setbacks. Some wrote about the strength they found in hearing someone speak honestly about struggles that often stay hidden. In that moment, Jill's story became a beacon, not just of pain, but of resilience. Chapter 8. Hope in Unexpected Places. Healing doesn't always look the way we expect. For some, it's a gradual fading of symptoms. For others, it's a transformation of perspective. Jill came to realize that healing wasn't just about her body returning to how it was before. It was about how she chose to live now, with softness toward herself and